Hi everyone, happy Friday. It's me, Sherry Rogers, your breakthrough and clarity strategist and your transformational life catalyst who's dedicated to helping you stand in your power, operate life in your joy, and create decisions from a place of consciousness and clarity so that you can become unstoppable in life. It is Friday. Woohoo! We made it to Friday again. And boy, this week Friday, you guys, I am so celebrating this week Friday. I've been pretty tired from traveling this last week, and I got food poisoning when I was down in Houston one of the nights that just zapped a bunch of energy out of me for the next day, but I still pulled through my mastermind and all of that kind of stuff, and came home and it's just that busy kind of week, right? Like all of these obligations and catching up, and my kids are going to be home pretty soon, and luckily my ex is at the robotics club for me tonight, standing in for me because I'm the robotics club mom. So hello, beautiful. Okay, now I have a chance to practice my Hawaiian. Okay, tell me if I say this right. Okay, okay, let me just do it in my head real quick. Kali Hinano. Kalihinano? Is that how I say your name? Kalihinano? I can't tell. I know that we call it Kalihinano. Kalihi. I'm trying. I am trying. Kalihinano. Is that right? Is that right? Tell me when I get it right. I'm going to practice for a couple of minutes. It is right. Kalihinano. That's a hard name for me, but thank you. I'm glad I got it right. Hello, Kalihinano. It's nice to see you here. Usually when I come on, I'm on a little bit earlier lately, and so you guys in Hawaii are still in bed. And I noticed that you see Kalihinano. I did! Kalihinano. Okay, I'll have to remember how to say that fluidly now because it's such a beautiful name that I want to honor your gorgeous Hawaiian name. Thanks for joining us live. So you guys, it's been a long week. I am in the process of kind of getting back into my daily routine with It's the Small Things Challenge since I had that fall about a month ago. And that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about is, we make these goals for ourselves and sometimes things come up and we don't need to give up. We just need to do what we can in the space that we have with the energy that we have. But as long as we just keep on moving, right? We keep on moving forward. So I'm a little bit behind in my daily commitments and my goals, and I'm ready now to vamp that back up. I actually went to the podiatrist again yesterday and got some more shots in my feet, which is not fun, but I did, and I'm hoping to really get rid of this plantar fasciitis pain and all of these issues from falling this last year, get that out of the way quickly. So today I want to talk to you guys about intentional creation. That is the theme here for the month, is intentional creation. And I really just want to just sit with you in this space and talk for a minute about what we believe is possible, how we can intentionally create really powerfully, and give you a little exercise to engage in over the weekend, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is just energy. So when we're talking about intentional creation, it's so important for us to understand that we're also engaging in energy. And energy cannot be destroyed or created. It has always been, and it always will be. And it runs through every single thing in the universe. It runs through you and me, and it runs through everything. Now, the funny thing about energy is that it vibrates differently, right? Just like you meet different people, and they carry a different vibration. Like you could literally be walking down the street and feel somebody's vibration, right? Like, and you can go, oh, that just didn't feel quite right. Or, wow, that person just seems to have a really sweet soul, And so we feel the vibrations of people and the things around us. But what we don't realize in this process of intentional creation when we choose to intentionally create something, one of the main things that we have to do is match the energy of what it is that we're trying to achieve. Okay, I'm going to say that again. One of the main things that we have to do in the process of creation is match the energy of what it is that we're trying to attract into our lives. Now, that can be really difficult to do when we're sitting in a place of despair, of fear, of worry, and things like that, because fear, worry, and despair don't resonate at the same vibrational frequency as hope and when you're in action and you have faith and you have passion towards the things that you want, and you have this belief that what you want will happen, right? They carry very, very different vibrational energies. And so one of the keys is to sit with the energy that you're feeling and ask yourself, what is it that I'm feeling right now? And then invite yourself to consider, if what I have was present in my life, what would I be feeling right now? How would I be feeling differently? How would I be thinking differently? How would I be acting differently? How would I be showing up differently if what I wanted was in my life? And take a moment to write that down. Both what it is that you want to feel and what it is that you're experiencing right now in the moment. And when you locate that disparity between where you are and where you want to be, then you can consciously change your vibrations, your thoughts, and things to match. But it is difficult to do if we don't know where we're going, or if we don't know where we're going feels like or looks like, or how it's to be embodied, right? So we need to be so incredibly clear, my friends, about what it is we want from the feeling end of things with our goals. So as you're going through the process, and many of you now have opted into the 5-day Mindset Reset, Create Your Vision Challenge, which is absolutely imperative this time of year, right? That's what I was just down in Texas doing for my business. Next week, I will be in Arizona, and I will be taking some time to do that in my life vision as well, because this is the time of year that we want to look at what worked, what didn't, what I needed to embrace that maybe I didn't, what I needed to let go of that maybe I didn't, right? What did you need to let go of this year that you're still hanging on to? And what did you need to embrace that you're still struggling with embracing? Those two things right there could be the power element that takes you into the success, the achievements, and the results that you really want to experience. It's just sometimes it's just as simple as releasing one thing. It could be a limiting belief that's holding you back. It could be a habit that is stealing your energy. It could be a mindset around something, again, a belief. Usually it's a belief or habit, when it's all said and done, a root belief that holds us back, like money's evil, because we were raised in an environment that taught us that if we focused on money, that money was evil. Right? And so how can we become, successful and make a lot of money if we have this limiting belief that's coming up against our dreams? So, I sold bearings to the Department of Defense for 15 years as a manufacturer's rep. And bearings and emotions are a lot alike, you guys. When a bearing is inserted into an object, its purpose is to create more flow, create less resistance, and create more ease and movement, right? But if something happens to that bearing, right? So I'm going to tell you a little story about these helicopters, these Apache helicopters back in 2003, I think it was. 2003, 2004. So our Department of Defense had a lot of Apache helicopters, and they were crashing over in the Middle East, and we couldn't figure out why they were crashing. And it got to the point where the Department of Defense was going back to the bearing manufacturer for compensation. The bearing manufacturer said, we're not going to even make any more bearings. If it goes on a helicopter to the Department of Defense, we're not going to sell it. We don't even care if it goes on a refrigerator on a helicopter. We're not selling it. And they were sole source for this item. So it was producing a backlog in our procurement cycle, because this was a very, very major manufacturer, and this was a very, very big issue because we had helicopters crashing all over the place and they didn't know why. Well, once they found out why these helicopters were crashing, they realized it was because the bearings were getting brunelled. So what that meant was that the helicopters were taking off of the sand in the desert, and as they went up and the propellers were moving, it was kicking air up underneath the helicopters like this and up into the bearing on the bottom of the helicopter. Well, this bearing was an open face bearing. So the sand was getting in the bearing and then brunelling the bearing, and then the bearing would stop and the helicopter would crash. So the reason I tell you that story is because emotions are exactly like that. Our emotions, when we know how to use them properly, especially in the process of intentional creation, they have the ability to make things flow and move as easily as a bearing can make a helicopter fly. Or if we don't manage it right and we're not in our power, we're not completely clear about what that emotion is telling us, and we react instead of respond from a place of power, then what happens is that we get brunelled. Does that make sense? And then we can sometimes crash and burn as a result of it. So we want to make sure that the bearing race, right, that our emotional race is open and clear and free of debris, so that we can navigate through certain stuck points or when sand gets in our way and blast through that, so that we're still in flow and that we're still in motion. Right? And so what happens in the process of intentional creation a lot of times is that people will have this idea about what they want, and what they want is like over here at this level, and where they're at is like here at this level. And so they're trying to create these really, really high level ideas and views of things that they want for themselves, but their beliefs are down here. And what we have to do, and what I do with my clients, is that we work on closing that belief gap or closing that emotional gap, right? It can be one or the other, and it can be a combination of both. A lot of times it's a combination of both, because we've got the emotions that are tied to the belief, and our bodies develop like a response. And then we develop like this knee-jerk kind of response where we know that we're not responding right, but we still respond that way because we've trained ourselves to do that. Okay, so in this process of intentional creation, keeping a really, really, really keen eye on what's going on internally with you will help you determine how on track you are for creating those goals that you want, or how off track you might be and what you need to do to go back on track. Okay, so what I'd like to invite you to do this weekend is to step into a space of intentional creation for one specific thing. And I'm actually going to invite you to put into your mind an image of a purple car. And close your eyes, if you will, if you're in a position that you can actually do so. So if you're driving or operating heavy machinery or walking down the street, definitely don't close your eyes. But if you're in a position that you can do so, just take a moment and close your eyes with me. And take a couple of deep breaths in and out. And as you do, I would like you to envision a purple vehicle. It could be a sports car, it could be a big SUV, it could be a limo, a truck, whatever it looks like to you. Envision that in your mind. And I would like you to declare or set an intention that over the course of the next couple of days, you intend to notice a purple car somewhere. Something that you wouldn't have probably even thought about noticing in the past, but you're intending it now. And when you do intend it, that you actually say it out loud. And we do this exercise, I do this exercise with a lot of my clients over the course of our session. So if we have, a 12-week session or a 6-month session, or however we do that, we infuse this intentional creation piece just so that they can see this power of once we tell ourselves something, right, and infuse it into our mind. So you can go ahead and open your eyes if you haven't already done so. And just this weekend, as you guys go forth and you think about this space of the end of the year, we're coming up on 6 weeks left, 5 weeks left before the end of the year, and we start our new year with new intention, as most of us do, and with newly found power from the things that you are going to be doing as you work through some of these exercises. And some of them may seem really silly at first. The mirror exercise, massively uncomfortable. Okay, if you've done it, you know that it's massively uncomfortable at first, but they're powerful, powerful exercises, right? So if you could just take a few moments and close your eyes to envision this purple vehicle that is going to come into your life, your vision, your space, somehow in the next couple of days. And then on Monday, I'd like to engage with you. You can send me a note, you can pop on live, anything, and just see what showed up for you. As we move forward, I will not tell you what to look for. This is just an example of, this is how we do it. This is where we start. This is like the babyest of baby steps. And then the next step would be, then you choose what it's going to be, right? And we can work through that actually together. If you guys haven't scheduled your virtual tea session, it's a really good idea to schedule your virtual tea session with me around intentional creation, because we can work through a meditation, a guided visualization, and things like that to help you see how this process works. And this process of creation really is a process. It's a process of raising our energy to a space of awe and desire and just, really high energy, just like they do in church, right? You go into church on Sundays and everybody's singing and dancing and the energy's being raised, right? Before we go into intentional creation, we want to do that for ourselves. We want to dance around our own house. We want to sing and just be happy to the point where you're so vibrating so high that you're just in your happiness and your joy, and then sit down and intentionally create something through desire, not through want, but through desire. And we can talk more about that again at another time. I've covered that, in the past, the difference between desire and want. But so this weekend, my invitation to you is to sit with this intentional creation piece, envision a purple car, see what shows up for you, and then just let me know about it on Monday. Okay, I will be back on Sunday. Monday, I will actually, I'm flying out again next week is why I'm trying to figure out. So, I will make a point on being on Sunday and on Monday this week. And then I'll be flying out on Tuesday for Thanksgiving holiday and all that. So Sunday, we're going to sit and talk about emotions and family and the holidays. So it will be a pretty good live stream, and I'll try to keep it at about 30 or 40 minutes, but really give you some powerful tools to be able to work through family situations during the holidays when emotions come up. Because as much as we love our families and we can't wait to see them, what I know is that many, many of us also have situations where, it can just be really hard to deal with certain people in that situation. And we're tired of having our joy robbed away from us. So how do we manage that and really work through it from a place of power and stay in our joy and activate love in the people around us, even in situations that may not be the best situations? So Sunday I'll come on, we'll have that talk about emotions and family and the holiday and how to work through all of that. And hey Rhonda, how's it going? And we will then come on Monday and talk about your intentional creation around this purple car. Does that make sense? So your homework assignment is to close your eyes, envision a purple car coming into your life, somehow, some way, some this weekend, right? Some way between now and Sunday or Monday. And I want you to be aware of it and see how many show up for you. It'd be interesting, right? To see how many show up for you also. But that's the first step in intentional creation, is just deciding that you want something and then declaring it. So as a group, we're going to decide on one thing, a purple car, and we're going to keep our eyes open for a purple car over the course of the weekend. Hi, Terry. How are you? Great to see you here. So I'm just about wrapping it up. I hope you guys have a chance to go back and just take a look at the live stream. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to have those shots in the cortisone shots in my feet again so I can start running again. And I'm also very glad to be over the food poisoning that I had when I was in Texas earlier this week. So it's been a good week. It's been a long week. And I will also be looking for my purple cars along with you. So Terry, today we're talking about intentional creation. I just gave everyone an invitation to close their eyes and envision a purple car over the course of the next 3 days. See how many purple cars show up in your space. That is our first exercise in intentional creation, is to envision it, to intend it, to declare it, and then just see what happens. Something real simple like that you have no attachments to whatsoever. Okay, so that's what we're doing. That's our assignment for the week. Please play along with me because I want to hear your stories, even if it's no purple cars showed up. Okay, then we want to talk about that too. Okay, all right. Well, have a great rest of your weekend, everyone, and I will see you on Sunday. And again, on Sunday, we're going to be talking about emotions and family and the holidays and how to work through difficult situations from a place of power. Okay, we'll see you guys then, and I will see you later. Thanks for joining me live. We'll see you later. See you Sunday.